Welcome back, guys. This is The Reading Glass, and we are your hosts.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Becca.
We are doing a very special episode for you guys today.
Sure are. What is it called, Dylan?
It is called Sipping It Back.
This is our first one of many that we are going to be doing monthly instead of doing
A new book.
a new book
A
all
new
the
era
time.
book, we should say.
There we go.
We're looking back at books that actually got us into reading.
In the first place.
And we picked a very exciting one.
I would say books that we haven't read since we were in
High school.
So it should be pretty interesting. So our first book
is going to be The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
And the reason why we did this one is because The Hunger Games actually just came out with a new book.
Sunrise on the Reaping. Oh my God, you guys. It was so good. Becca hasn't read it yet, but we will get there in time.
We are going to do the full series, including the off books too.
The prequels, yes.
And you said what?
Haymitch's games were amazing. Like, that was probably my favorite of the Hunger Games next to this original one.
And that was Sunrise of the Reaping, right?
Sunrise on the Reaping, yes. The one that just came out a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for people who have, oddly enough, have not read Hunger Games.
Which, after scrolling through Book Talk, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you. That's
which
a little weird.
Which is really weird. I feel like...
Not judging.
No, not at all. I mean, there are those people out there that just watch the movies.
Which is valid, and I get not wanting to get into the hype of something, but let me tell you guys, the hype is real on this.
Honestly, I feel like if you read the book and then watch the movie, you'll love the book more.
Because there's more to it.
There's always more to
100%.
it. Movies don't get everything 100%, and it's also not like 100%
accurate.
They will
Never.
change stuff up in it and whatnot, and then as a reader, you're like, oh, why?
It drives you insane.
The entire time.
But from what I remember of the Hunger Games movie, it's been a while since I've seen it. It is pretty faithful from what I remember. There's a couple things.
I haven't watched it, nor have I read this book since they came out.
Well, you know, we might have to change that there, Becca.
Well, we are having another episode after
We are?
this.
I'm shocked.
But we will get to that.
We will get to that.
I guess for all the people who have not read Hunger Games.
Ooh, sorry, you just hurt my heart there.
We do have to give a kind of brief discussion.
We
But you have to
should.
sum it up in the first book only, because this episode is only the first book.
It is that special. We devoted an entire episode to it. So if you haven't read it, that should make things clear to you guys.
So if you got confused on the name Haymitch, he's a mentor. He's a main character.
He's also a daddy. In case you guys haven't realized, daddy is a term where Dylan would have sex with.
By episode 4, I mean, I think it makes it pretty clear.
They better know, or else we don't have good viewers.
It's okay.
Not saying you guys are bad, but God.
They'll learn.
So, in the ruins of North America, every year,
In a world called Panem.
Panem, yeah. Children are forced to fight to the death. And when I mean children, I mean 12-year-olds to, I believe, 18.
Yep.
It is insane. And the whole premise of this book, when I first read it many moons ago, honestly kind of grossed me out. It was so different than anything else I had read, especially when it comes to our main character, Katniss.
So I think also for a playback, sorry to interrupt you, with this whole 12 to 18-year-old nonsense.
Crazy.
So this is something that their government, called the Capitol, makes them do every year.
Lovely.
On, what day is it,
It's
Dylan?
July 4th. You guys should know what that is.
July 4th, Reaping Day. So basically, the Capitol makes them do this in every district. Because there's 13 districts, technically.
Technically, there is 13, but we'll get into that.
But they have to do it every year, basically to undermine them and to always be one person above them, basically.
It's a reminder of what happens when you cross the government.
It's a reminder that they control you, you don't control them, basically. And how...
Sound familiar?
Yeah. And how they don't control you is by having these children
Babies.
play in the Hunger Games. And it's mandatory.
And the thing about the Hunger Games is you can never predict it. It's
No.
always a different arena. It's always a different
It's always
setting,
a different setting with different everything.
different
every year.
weapons.
And it's always one boy and one girl from each district.
We will get into that because there are things known as quarter quills, but that is going to be in a couple episodes.
Yeah, but we're strictly on book 1. So we're acting as if we don't know anything. So
I might know a little bit.
this first book is just basically Hunger Games.
It's honestly.
It's the first Hunger Games you meet and know, and it's the start of how the series goes, basically.
The main series, correct. Yeah. Because this is set technically in present day, while the two prequels are set in the past.
Right. I would also say that this is Katniss and Peeta's Hunger Games.
100%. This is their story. This is the beginning of their journey.
And a bunch of stuff happened.
Crazy stuff.
Stuff I forgot. Honestly, that happens in this book.
It's been a while since you've read it, right? High school.
Yeah. Same with you said.
High school, yeah. High school. Yeah. I read it. So I got introduced to Hunger Games with my book club in high school. It was the very first book we had read.
Okay.
And it was honestly my introduction into the dystopian genre. Because, back when we were in high school, it was all vampires. It was all Twilight. And then good old Vampire Diaries was making its views.
Yep.
And what was the other one that was like crazy? It wasn't Divergent. It was another vampire series going on.
I know what you're talking
Vampire
about.
Academy.
Yeah,
Vampire Academy.
There we go.
So I was like knee deep in my love of the Bloodsuckers, and then my book club picked this, and I was like, I don't want to read this. Like, this is weird. Children fighting to the death. This is gross.
Definitely, I would say for your first time around, you're like, what? Why is this happening? Especially as a kid, because this
100%.
is a young adult book.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, it is a young adult book. It has a lot of adulter things going on in the book.
Which is why I think we resonated so much with it reading it again.
Yeah, especially as being an adult.
Oh, it's so weird.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny, though, at the same time.
I personally just can't believe how it has aged. But we'll go into that as we get into the spoilery territory, you guys.
So we haven't even talked about our wine, Dylan.
You mean bottles of wine?
We don't talk about bottles of wine. You can't take us to a wine store or a bookstore together.
We have yet to go to a bookstore together. You realize that, right?
It's dangerous. We can't do it.
The cashiers would love us.
Yeah, but our bank accounts wouldn't.
On that note, you guys, we have decided on the lovely Black Cloud by Cloudbreak.
It is a red blend.
It is a red blend, correct.
I believe they make a Cabernet also.
Becca, I just looked at the alcohol content.
And?
13.5.
Okay, we're there.
Again.
I don't think they make wines under 10 anymore. Literally.
I'm pretty sure they do. I think my Barefoot is a good 9%, but it's Barefoot.
Yeah, I think Stella Rosa is also like...
We don't talk about Stella Rosa in this household.
It's the same deal, though. It's under 10%. So the good wines are all over 10.
So Black Cloud is awash in darkness, brooding and enveloping. Black Cloud conjures up the intensely rich and concentrated flavors born of our fog-shrouded vines. Inky in the glass, satiny on our palate, Black Cloud stands up to the boldly flavored foods and provides a silver lining stormy nights. Now, if that doesn't sound like the Hunger Games to me...
I think that definitely sounds like it. As a reader who has read Hunger Games, it definitely sounds like it.
Shame on you if you haven't. I'm just saying.
I mean, it should be nostalgia. It should not be something new.
For some it is, and that's okay.
That's fine. We're not judging, but we're judging.
I'll judge a little bit less, though, once this bottle is open. What are you thinking, Becca?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. I love that sound. Ooh, that's a gorgeous color. Reminds me of the Nightlock berry. I'm very excited about this. Ooh.
It smells like Freak Show.
It really does smell like Freak Show. Check out our last episode in case you were wondering. Freak Show was for Caraval, episode 3.
And it was 15%, not 13.5.
I feel like I didn't get as drunk on Freak Show as I did Witching Hour, though.
Interesting. Okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, I think this one's my favorite. That's smooth.
Berry aftertaste in that, too.
And it's funny because most of our wines that we've gotten have like a berry finish, but this is the only one that I think I can really taste it.
Yeah, this one I can definitely taste a berry finish.
And it definitely has that cherry note to it as well.
Yeah. It's very cherry.
Definitely a good dessert wine, I think. And I think now that we have our bottle of wine open, it is time to get into the spoilery section.
If you have not read Hunger Games, if you don't want to know about it, turn this off.
We won't be mad.
Whatever you want, come back to this. But we're getting into the nitty gritty.
I'm so ready.
Bye, spoilers.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something, girl.
It was so nostalgic, dude.
I felt like a teenager again.
Yeah. I kind of remember a lot from the Hunger Games, but then again, certain details, I was like, oh, yeah.
It felt like I was reading a new story almost, even though I know what happens.
Right. After all of these years, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it again.
You know what caught me off guard about it was the writing still was amazing. That's what I was worried about. Mostly because after reading her newer stuff, I was worried that the quality of her writing in my mind would have gone down because, you know, like let's say you read a book by an author and then they come out with one a couple years later.
And it's completely different.
But the writing style is better. This actually stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it.
Okay.
It was immersive. It was thought-provoking. Katniss was still really likable. I was kind of nervous. She was going to get on my nerves a little bit. I still fucking loved her to pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved her, and I think like getting back to her character too just makes you appreciate her more, especially like as an adult for what she does for her family growing up. She had to play the role model that mother did not play. She had to go hunting
every day. She had to learn how to hunt.
Yeah, she had to learn how to do these things.
Learn to set snares.
Yeah, she had to learn all these things, and it was dangerous and illegal in her district.
I mean, if it isn't illegal, it's not a little fun, right?
Sure. But I mean, that's how she survived at the same time, you know? So it's crazy to me of like how much in poverty almost every district, the higher districts are compared to like the lower districts. Again, government in all things. So like we were saying before, with district, there's 13.
Yes.
But technically
only 12.
Because why have district 13?
They done did fucked up and got blown up.
Yeah.
That's why you don't mess with daddy government.
And again, books, we are only talking about
book number 1, so we don't even know what happened. Well, we
know,
but
we are only talking about
we spend too much time together, girl.
We are only talking about book 1. Book 1 only. We are not spoiling it for the rest of the people who may not have read it.
Not yet. Let me tell you about something. When I was reading this book, I felt like it resonated to modern day. Just what we're dealing with currently in the world.
Sure.
With everything.
Yeah.
It almost scared me just because of the message.
Because it could potentially happen.
In my personal opinion, it is. You know what I mean? It's scary how much of a foreshadow and foresight Suzanne Collins had. It almost felt like a warning almost. I'm not saying our government would put us in an arena and have us fight to the death, but it could happen. I mean, clearly someone thought about it, you psycho. It just blows my mind how even with it being a dystopian novel, it is so humbling and it is so, honestly, what's the word I'm looking for? It's relatable. It's so relatable because I've never been hungry personally. I've never gone through what Katniss goes through, but the idea, it could happen. It's not anything Katniss did. I think her mother loves her. I think we can establish that, but she was not a good mother.
No, she fell off the face of the earth when her dad died.
Which, I understand you lose the love of your life, but you have 2 little girls
that you have to care for.
They're depending on you.
Right.
And imagine we're living in the world of the Hunger Games, right?
Right.
Would we want our kids to have to go sign up for Tesserae? Tesserae, for people who don't know, is essentially government given grain and oil if you decide to go ahead and insert your name into the Hunger Games reaping more than once. So when you're 12,
they can ask for it every year, but your name gets put into the pot
more than
times.
Once. Yeah. So when you're 12, 1 time, 13, 2 times, and you can do it for every member of your family. So in Katniss's case, she could do it for her mother and her sister. So the first time she was ever entered into the Hunger Games, she had it in 3 times. And by the time the story picks up, I believe she has it in like 16 or 17 times.
With this one?
It was
40.
40 times? The odds were not in her favor.
No. And then it was Prim, her little sister.
It was her first Hunger Games.
Her first Hunger Games. She didn't ask for the grain or anything.
Thank God.
But she's only in there once. And what are the odds that with Katniss having 40 in there and with Prim only having 1, that Prim gets chosen? That's
not gonna lie, the odds were not in her favor that day.
No.
It's awful. And honestly, part of me, like, as stupid as it sounds, because I don't trust the Capitol.
No.
Shocker.
No,
I think it's rigged. I think they purposely pick little kids.
Right. I don't know. It's more so the Capitol's higher power.
I still think it was rigged, and they purposely said, ooh, she's 12, let's pick her.
Yeah.
Because they want the lower districts to stay lower. They don't want them to have a victor.
Right.
You're at the bottom. You stay at the bottom. That is your place.
Right. And I think also with Katniss, you know, saying that she volunteers as tribute just speaks volumes for her character when it
100%.
First sets. Like, it kind of sets the entire book.
She becomes a spark, and she does so unknowingly. She gives people hope by volunteering for her sister.
She becomes the fire. She becomes the flame.
She becomes the girl on fire.
Yeah.
So by the time our story starts, spoiler, there's only been 2 previous tributes tributes for District 12 that have won. One of which is my boy Haymitch, and then another person who we'll get into in one of our throwback episodes.
Yes.
I love PETA. Not the bread, the person. I had to make the joke, I'm sorry.
Peeta's the boy that got chosen and had a forever loving crush on Katniss since he was 5.
I mean, for a blondie, we stan PETA. So here's the thing about PETA. I don't think he is as innocent as he claims to be, at least not at first. But I do think PETA is the most wholesome out of any of the characters because there's this one quote that really stuck with me.
Which
and that is, he didn't want the games to change him.
Right, because it does change people. I mean, how does it not change you? You have to kill 23 other people to be the 24th person still alive and the only person alive. And you're killing kids.
That would change anybody.
Yeah, you are literally this 16, 13, 12-year-old.
If you're lucky, 18.
Yeah, and you have to go through killing all of these other people, like from different districts.
I wouldn't survive.
No.
I would die probably in the bloodbath.
That would 100% change your life, no matter what. And I don't blame them for never being able to be the same again.
I appreciate his hope that he will be. And he even admits, I'm probably going to kill. I'm going to kill the second I get in there.
Because you have to. Because you want to stay alive.
But he doesn't want to be a weapon for the stupid government, which I can completely get behind.
Right.
Like, who wants to be some person who's never known hunger, who wants to be their source of entertainment? And what does it say about the people of the Capitol? Some of them actually genuinely enjoy watching these kids kill each other.
They bet on them during the entire Hunger Games.
That's gross.
That's insane.
The fact of the matter is, you're not going to come back the same. You're going to be changed. You're going to have PTSD.
Yeah.
You're going to be emotionally destroyed, mentally destroyed. And then on top of that, you're having your emotions fucked with you by a boy.
Yeah.
PETA, I'm looking at you.
That too. Because the whole deal with Hunger Games for Katniss and PETA was that PETA came out for his lovely interview of that, I'm in love with Katniss. I've always been in love with her. We were 5 years old.
5 years old when
And
she sang the Valley song.
Yeah.
That was really sweet. I'm
and
sorry.
He told her of him remembering all these fine little details of that entire day to her in the Hunger Games when he was in really bad shape and she had to go save him.
Not gonna lie, if I had a boy saying those things to me, I don't care if it was on live TV and it was fake and it was for the cameras. I would fall head over heels in love with him.
But I think PETA genuinely means it.
Oh,
because
100%.
It kept hinting the entire time that he already knows. PETA knows. PETA was already on board. PETA's
It was
going
never
to
a
be
game
on
for
board.
him.
No, it was never a game for him. It was only Katniss because Katniss didn't know what she really wanted or if it was real or not. And she thinks that it is the game.
The only thing she wanted was to get home to her sister. Like she said,
Yeah,
she'd try and win.
Book. Yep. And she promised to try and win to Prim also.
Even though, let's face it, when you're up against careers, which are essentially these kids that have trained their entire lives from the main districts, I think 1, 2, 3, and 4, if my memory's correct.
The first 4, yeah.
The first 4. They're trained to essentially win the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
They volunteer for this.
They will volunteer all the time.
If I was going up against them, I'd be like, I am fucked. I am cooked. They're going to kill me in 2 seconds flat. I'm not even going to be able to get any supplies because I'm going to be dead.
Right.
I couldn't do it. I would die.
Right. I would be like Rue, or I would be like Foxface.
And run.
And run. Hide, run, whatever you had to do.
But unfortunately, even when you're in the games, hiding from them isn't going to last long
Depending
at all.
if they can find you. With PETA hit himself for what, 3-ish?
3-ish days. I think they were in the arena 2 weeks, is my understanding.
Yeah, but when he got injured,
He did hide for a while.
He hid for at least 3 days bleeding out in mud and plants and
He was surprised he got an infection. He's lucky no mutts found him. They were very...
The mutts came at the very end,
Yes.
though, when it was only the 3 of them, which were mutated mutts of all of the gamers.
That
all
freaked
the
me out.
tributes that died already. That's freaking weird. They had the
Foxface
eyes.
was my favorite.
They had the eyes and they had the stockiness, but they weren't them. They were mutations and they were freaking weird. I could only imagine.
Speaking of our tributes, I know we all were rooting for Katniss. It is programmed into the book you need to root for Katniss.
Right.
Who was your favorite tribute besides Katniss? The one you would have been like, okay, if they won the games and the series continued on from their perspective, who would you want?
Rue. I love Rue.
I'm going to get a lot lot of hate. I kind of love Kato a little bit.
Okay.
I feel he was almost programmed.
He is the ruthless one.
I like ruthless men.
But he used his other girl, I forgot her name.
Clove.
Yeah.
Good old Clove.
He
Psycho
used
bitch.
her when they had the dinner.
You're right.
When they hosted the dinner, he made her go in there instead of him. So technically he's kind of a coward at the same time.
Smart. He wanted to win. He's like, get this bitch out of my face. But at that point, remember, they were both going home together.
Right.
They were one of the only two
they
teams.
finally announced in, I think it was right before part 3 of the book,
that two
winners can happen from the same district if you are both alive.
I do think we are getting ahead of ourselves because there is something we need to talk about.
Okay.
My boy Cinna.
Senna.
I love Cinna so much. He is the, honestly, one true voice of reason in the capital.
Yeah, because he picked District 12.
He wasn't assigned District 12.
He was not assigned District 12. He picked
Unlike
and
Effie.
chose. Freaking can't stand Effie.
I love Effie so much.
Yeah, but...
She's so stupidly innocent and blind. I can't say anything because you haven't read Sunrise on the Reaping. I want to. Your opinion will change. I know you. Your opinion will change.
Right now it's not changed. But I love that Cena, like, kind of is a friend to Katniss.
I think he held her together. I think she would have went insane.
Yeah. I feel like she would have, like, torn down, like, especially after the games. He was kind of like her safe space. She could have broken down easily from everything that happened. She wasn't allowed to see Peeta. She wasn't allowed to know basically even how he was doing. They literally fixed all of her scars and burns even before the games.
They wanted to surgically alter her too.
Right. And this is all the capital. She didn't know any of it happening. Someone came behind her and poked her with a needle to knock her out. And then every time she was awake, she was in restraints.
And she ate.
And she ate.
And that was it.
But then they made her go back to sleep to continue healing all of these things.
It also doesn't help her mentor, who probably could have given her a warning. Let's face it, Haymitch is an interesting character, and I don't think he's a bad person.
But I feel like, how do you also prepare someone for that if you don't know they will win or not? Because that's something that you have to coach after they win. That's not something you can coach right away.
And let's face it, District 12, it makes sense that he thought they were going to die. Remember in the beginning when they got on, the train and she stabbed the desk and he punched Haymitch, or no, Haymitch punched him because he slapped the drink out of his hand. He actually got a pair of fighters instead of these malnourished kids who literally can't, all they care about is the food.
Yeah, they can't do anything. They don't know how to take care of themselves or fight or anything, or even want to fight because they don't know how.
They know how to mine coal. Essentially, that is all they know is coal.
Exactly, because Haymitch was such a drunk in the beginning of the book, and with Katniss and Peeta, it changed him from not being so much of a drunk.
He realized that, oh wow, I have a chance. These kids have a chance. And I hate to say it, and this is me sounding horrible. If my money had to be on Katniss or Peeta, I would have picked Katniss, obviously. Not just because she's the protagonist, but because there was something about her. She's a survivor, and as fucked up as Peeta's mom was, because Peeta's mom does go to him when they're all saying goodbye and says she's a survivor, that one. Maybe District 12 will finally have a winner.
Yeah, she picks Katniss over her own son.
Which I understand her reasoning, but also Peeta's mom is kind of we haven't seen her that much, but she's a bitch. She's an abusive, crappy person. But if it wasn't for that abuse, there wouldn't be no boy with the bread.
That, and at the same time, like with Peeta though too, he didn't have to do what Katniss did.
No, he had everything handled.
Right. He made bread for his family and whatnot. And he had it a little bit better than Katniss did, even though he was still in poverty.
And the bread was stale. It was still bread. He didn't have to go hunting. He didn't have to forage. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, when they were describing the foods that Katniss made,
oh my God. I was like, ugh.
I couldn't. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge greens person, but, like, when she was talking about, like, tubers from the pond and...
like, straight?
Daisy.
Just
Daisy soup. I was like,
just
that's edible?
Yeah.
I skipped Boy Scouts.
I totally forgot about all of that when rereading. I was like, oh my God, all this. I mean, I understand it's all plants and it's editable, but like you would have to know and you'd have to super survive on that. And
I would end up eating those nightlock berries, 100%.
And because you didn't know, he didn't know because he wasn't trained on any of it. He didn't know because he didn't grow up with it or anything too, I could only imagine imagine going from eating normal to eating nothing almost. You have to eat a piece of mint in order to keep your stomach settled and to think that it's not hungry anymore.
I've had a mint julep, but I've never put the leaves in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, I'll be honest with you, now that we're on the subject of the food of the Hunger Games, that lamb stew that she was describing sounded so good. And I don't even like lamb. I was like, girl.
Give me some.
Yes. And it just shows the exorbitance of the Capitol. Between that and the clothes and just like her girl on fire dress, which sounded stunning. And even at the end, after she's won and they were putting her in those girlish dresses, like it sounded so pretty. You could see the transformation of Katniss from the beginning of the book to the end, and you can kind of almost peek what we're going to be seeing in the future. Because let's face it, what she did was ballsy.
It was very ballsy, but I don't even think she was thinking of that. She was thinking that they were promised that two people
would survive.
And then last minute, when they are the last two people who survive, just kidding. It's still just the Hunger Games. Only one of you get to live.
Especially after playing up, because we don't know, obviously, what's going on behind the scenes. We only know what is going on in the arena because the Hunger Games is told in first-person point of view.
Of Katniss's point of view.
So we have to assume what's going on. When she's getting sponsorships, when she's getting bread delivered, you know, she has to...
when she's getting the gifts and whatnot.
We have to put those pieces together ourselves.
Right.
And, I mean, Suzanne Collins does such a great job at kind of taking you through Katniss's point of view and thoughts and helping you connect it with her.
Sure.
But there were certain things that, like, I don't know, didn't sound too bad in the arena. Like, I'm not going to lie, that bread she got from District 11 after Rue died.
Right. But
that sounded so good.
Right. But at the same time, like, it's respect.
I cried. I'm not going to lie. I did kind of tear up.
It's respect because she teamed up with Rue from District 11.
We stan Rue.
We love Rue. And Rue was only 12.
Rue was 12.
Rue was only 12, and she knew things that Katniss didn't know, and Katniss knew things she didn't know. They shared off of each other.
The Tracker Jacker stings.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my personal opinion, was the most gruesome scene of the book because I have a fear of bees. So I was like, I actually forgot about the Tracker Jackers, ironically enough.
I forgot a lot of stuff in this book, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. And all the things that happened. Yeah, I think that Rue just helped Katniss grow even more. Like, her character was such a turning point for Katniss for growing even more within the book.
I also liked, like, when Rue, spoiler alert, Rue gets a spear to the stomach. Moment of silence for Rue. This is literature. I don't even really count this as like YA fiction at this point, even though it is classified as YA. I consider this literature because it truly marks a significant point in our generation.
Right.
As weird as it sounds. I know that sounds weird, but to me, I kind of view our past in eras. There was the Twilight era, which sparked, Twilight. It sparked the Morganville Vampires, Vampire Academy, all these things. And then the Hunger Games started this dystopian era where there was, Divergent, the Uglies, all of this stuff. I truly believe half this stuff wouldn't have gotten popular without the Hunger Games.
Sure.
Because, let's be real, I openly said this earlier, that I did not read dystopian until the Hunger Games, and it opened my eyes. And Katniss itself is probably one of the best heroines I have ever read, at least in the first book. Because I'll be blunt with you, like, you guys will see, it gets a little rough from here.
It gets me excited to read the other two.
Do you remember a lot of the other two?
No.
Really?
No.
Ooh, girl, you're in for a treat.
I know.
So you've only read Mockingjay and Catching Fire, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to get you some more wine, love. This is some good stuff, you guys. Make sure to give it a try as you're watching it. Drink it with us.
Thank you.
Anytime, love.
Okay.
We love wine.
We do.
Final thoughts, my love. What are you thinking?
Good nostalgia.
It hit hard.
I say rereading it again was nice. It makes me excited to read the other ones.
Especially because you haven't read two of them.
I haven't read the prequels.
And the prequels, don't hate me, you guys, are better, in my personal opinion.
Okay, well, I have not read the prequels, so
You're
I'm
gonna
excited to do the prequels. I think that I have seen seen like snips of the movies of like 2 and 3 because they're just casually on. And I'm like, I don't remember what happens. What's happening? I remember those characters, but I don't remember what happens kind of deal because it's been so long since I've read these. I remember Hunger Games, the first book, the most out of all of them because it's what sets the rest of the series up.
100%.
Kind of deal, you know?
You want to know what I'm excited for?
What?
I think we should tell them. We are going to have a special segment called Screen Sipping.
Ooh.
Becca, would you like to tell our lovely viewers what screen sipping is?
Screen sipping is going to be us watching the first Hunger Games.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And talking about it. Hopefully it goes well.
Will there be wine?
There will be wine. Probably popcorn.
Ooh, popcorn sounds
I love
good.
me some good popcorn, not gonna lie. But we are going to be doing this after reading any book that has a series or movie.
You're going to have to let us know what you think of our setup because
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine.
We're gonna be blunt. Like, if you guys don't like it, let us know. We're happy to go back to just our book talk content.
We are just trying to shake it up a little, and it's only happening once a month because it's only going to pertain to all the Sip It Back books. So Hunger Games,
Twilight,
Harry Potter.
We would like to do Harry Potter eventually. That is correct.
A series of unfortunate events.
So here's the question: are we gonna want to do the TV show for that or the movie? Because
ooh, that's a good one.
Because like the TV show is fire compared to the movie.
Yeah, I know. I love Jim Carrey, but
I'm excited to go into Hunger Games, though. I think it's gonna be amazing.
We're gonna do some really good throwbacks too. Some romantic love.
You know, girl, I'm all about that.
Some Nicholas Sparks.
Ooh, I'm so excited for Nick. As long as A Walk to Remember is on there, I'm good.
There's some good ones.
Oh.
I love him. And the movies are good too.
Oh my God, yes.
So
make sure to check that out. And then after our screen sipping,
we are on our new series.
And we're not going to be doing YA.
Thank God.
Hunger Games didn't feel YA though. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, there's no spice level.
There's some good kiss scenes that make your heart go low. Oh.
But that's about it. It's just kissing. I'm like, oh. But at the same time, Katniss is like,
I'm not sure if I like this.
Okay, well, at the same time, Katniss is just like, she doesn't know her feelings. She's doing it for
the camera.
The camera. She's doing it for the viewers because throughout the entire Hunger Games, you are on camera.
We've all kissed a boy or a girl or a they. I don't care.
We don't judge.
Where you don't know. You're like, huh, this is nice, I guess. And then.
But she kept doing it for the camera.
She did feel something though.
At the end.
When towards the end, right before she went to go save Peeta, because Peeta gets really hurt. It's disgusting. There's pus. I don't like pus.
The author definitely
did a good job with the descriptions.
Yeah, she describes it very well to where you just kind of cringe a little bit. You're like, what? Why? I mean, Katniss does get her feelings and she understands her feelings a little bit more. But even at the very, very end, the train going back to District 12, she's confused because of Gale, her longtime best friend.
Who looks like her cousin. No, we don't do that. Yeah. We don't stand incest. I'm all for whatever you want to read, but I draw the line.
But they're not related, and he's been her best friend.
Plus, TMI, Gale's a dick.
We are not supposed to know
He was a dick in this book too, girl.
I didn't see that.
I did. I was like...
How was he a dick?
He was full of himself. We can run away. Bitch, it's the Capitol. You're gonna die.
He wanted to run away because he has feelings for her.
I mean, she
Did
is...
you not get that? We can just run away and forget all of our problems and live happily
but
ever after because I love you, but I'm not going to say that I love you, but...
Katniss isn't the brightest when it comes to men's attention.
No, she's definitely not.
No. I will always pick the boy with the bread. We stan the boy with the bread.
Okay, yes, we love Peeta. We all know. But Gale, I don't think was that much of a dick. You just hate him because you love Peeta.
Valid. Josh Hutcherson. You see this? You call me. On that note, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We do videos like this every week.
Or hopefully every week. You know.
We're trying. We got some good stuff coming up, actually.
Yeah, but we got some heavy books coming up, too.
Oh, God. But we like thick books.
And we cannot lie.
This is why I'm going to be going home. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Reading Glass and the first of our Sippin' It Back series. I had a great time.
I had an also great time too.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If this is the first time you're watching our videos, make sure to go ahead and follow up on our previous videos.
Make sure that you stay tuned for all of our next and upcoming videos, wine sippings, and everything book talk related and wine talk related even more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that for us. And always remember,
May
the odds be ever in your favor.